unlinked.
All right, welcome to Gen X Rated Thursday edition. How we doing, Billy?
A little outraged, a little angry. Just, I guess, another day ending in Y in under the Trump regime. But fuck, man,
Oh my gosh.
the House is just a fucking shit show. It's a snake den.
House on fire. Yeah, even this beautiful weather, it feels like it's in the low 70s, sunny, and it doesn't make up for the feeling that we have.
No, it's. I mean, they've just fucking rammed through, at least through the House, the biggest transfer of money from the lower and middle classes to the wealthiest class ever.
Yeah, amazing. Why do you think they did it in the middle of the night?
Oh gosh, I don't know, because some of the things in there are so unpopular and so cruel that they
Well,
can't stand the light of day.
those things you just lie about. And I saw plenty of people asking these Republicans to read from this bill, and they refused to do it.
Yeah, these are the worst people ever. I mean, Mike Johnson, dude, if anybody's going to hell, it should be Mike Johnson. I swear to God, all these so-called fake Christians, they're just disgusting people. I mean, and buried in that bill, it's bad enough you're going to make cuts to the social safety net. You're going to cut Medicaid. You're going to cut Medicare. You're going to cut SNAP. You've decided that 8-year-olds can be independent now, so you can't get a fucking tax write-off for an 8-year-old. It's disgusting. But on top of that, there is a section of that bill that protects Trump and other GOP party leaders from having to obey court orders. Now they're exempt from that. That's called a dictatorship.
Yeah.
I mean,
How's that
what
even
the
get through?
fuck?
Now, I'm hoping that they'll pick some of those things apart when it comes to the Senate. There's supposed to be a little bit more reasoning in the Senate. Maybe guys with a little bit more sack, people willing to stand up. I don't know, but we're going to find out pretty quickly. I mean, Josh Hawley was outraged. Let's see how outraged Josh Hawley is now that it's upon us.
Well, he was outraged. But I'm just wondering if it's one of those things where he, declares his outrage and writes an op-ed, but he knows it's not going to pass. He knows they have the votes, so he can save himself.
Yeah.
Because this bill is going to do a lot of harm to a lot of voters in Missouri. So it feels like grandstanding. I don't know. I called his office this morning, and of course, they're always overwhelmed. So you get a voicemail, and you can leave a message. And so I did that with him and Eric Schmidt, our other senator. But
yeah,
I don't know. It'd be nice to see them step up and actually show some sack and do the right thing. But I'm not extremely confident, as in not at all.
Yeah. And of course, we know the Senate's just a millionaire club themselves. So this is really working out for them. Some of the cuts, you mentioned Medicare, Medicaid, just actual numbers. $300 billion from food stamps, $500 billion from Medicare, $800 billion from Medicaid, $358 billion from the Affordable Care Act, tax on tips for 2 years. Everybody was all excited about the tax on tips, but the only relief on tax on tips are for cash tips. Anything
which nobody reports anyway.
Exactly. No, it's a great point. They're not telling you that anyway. This new bill will add $20 trillion to the debt and $3 trillion to the deficit, and those are modest projections. $3 trillion. I heard up to $5 trillion added to the deficit. I know we don't care about deficits when it's in their favor, where the GOP loves them, but wow.
Well, yeah, the Democratic administrations always bail us out and lower the deficit, and the GOP comes in and said we have to make these cuts because the deficit's too high, and yet they raise it way up, and the only people that benefit are their billionaire backers. So it's just disgusting, and people fall for it over and over and over again.
I know, it's like they're just learning. I just wanted to put up the difference. They started with Medicaid, which is for individuals, families, and children with limited income and resources. But then they started in the last 6 days going after Medicare, which is generally for people over 65 and have a qualifying disability. So to say, hey, you need to find work, you're able-bodied, you just don't get into the program if you play basketball 3 days a week. It's fair pay.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are on Medicaid because they do have a disability and they can't work. And as far as Medicare is concerned, this is just, they want to privatize the whole thing. Now, right now, you have a choice. You can go with original Medicare. And I spent 9 years pitching these plans. So, yeah. And, they all these Medicare Advantage plans that are offered privately, Medicare Advantage, you make the call, extra benefits. Yeah, right. You're going to pay for those benefits. And a lot of them are shit benefits.
Yeah.
Plans are a sham in a lot of cases. Um, what I would recommend is that, people would go with original Medicare, which covers most everything. It covers a lot more, and then get a Part D prescription drug plan, which you
Okay.
can, Trump's made a lot of noise about lowering prescription drug prices, but again, you know what? Empty barrels make the loudest noise, as Chuck used to say. But yeah, I think their goal is they want to completely privatize Medicare, which, will leave you paying more, getting less. And, seniors vote. So we'll
Yeah.
see. But, how many of them got duped by this guy in 2024?
Well, and the message is strong. I saw Lutnick was giving a talk, and he was being interviewed on Axios, I believe, and was telling the people that the programs are working. Trump's tariffs are working. How many of you are even noticing higher prices? And you could hear the guy in the back saying, yes.
It's hard to miss. When your grocery bill increases by 10, 15, 25%, it's hard to miss.
Well, and I experienced, and we talked about my experience at the grocery store. Yes. I just had the same experience at a restaurant yesterday with takeout. I bought it, and it was a lot more expensive than it was. So when I went and itemized, everything's up at least $1 per, be it an entree, side dish, whatever. Everything's at least $1 more expensive. Mm-hmm. And if you buy 10 things, that's $10 more than you had spent in the past.
Yeah.
Clearly it's going to be pushed on, and how could it not be? This is business. I get that. I'm not blaming the businesses. I'm blaming the orange guy.
Yeah, this is how this works. And now Trump's mad at Walmart. Well, you should just eat the cost. Don't raise your prices. Just eat it. Well, why would they do that?
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. This man is a blithering idiot. He's nothing but a grifter. He's done nothing since day one of this administration but enrich himself and his family and his cronies.
It's because he didn't do it the first time. So the second time he
well, I'm going big this time. That's what he said. And for KKK Karoline Leavitt to get up there and say, well, the president, how can you ask that question? The president is doing this for you. He gave up a life of luxury and a successful real estate empire. That empire was fucking tanking.
Yeah.
This guy had no money. And now he's put like $3.2 billion into his pocket through his crypto scams and everything else. His $5 million for a sit down with him.
Yeah.
$1 million for a group dinner, which he's doing tonight.
Yeah.
But he's off the presidential clock. So
yeah, they asked Karoline about that, and she said that it's on his personal time. So they're not really going to talk about that. Will they release the list of people that paid all this money in order to get FaceTime with them? No, it's on his own personal time, which it's not White House related event. So no, but technically it is a White House event if they're getting access to the White House.
Yeah. She's just, dude, somewhere Joseph Goebbels is rolling over in his grave saying, damn, she's good.
She's really good. And she's quite offensive.
She's extremely offensive. She's a horrible human being.
She calls people absurd for asking questions. They talked about the crosses that Trump pulled a Zelensky and ambushed the South African president yesterday in the Oval
embarrassing.
Office. Hugely embarrassing. He had very few facts. He was going off. I mean, he put on a little video display, which was also like propaganda. And then they talked about the crosses along the road and said how many murdered white farmers it was. They're really going after the racial persecution of white people, and that the South African government's not doing anything. And if you look at the numbers and compare it to any inner city that we have in this country, granted, it's more minorities to to Black people that are being murdered. So I guess maybe that doesn't matter as much to KK Karoline. But it's pretty noticeable that South Africa doesn't really have that big of a problem.
Not like that, no. And, again, and this is land that it's not being taken. They're not being forced off their land. They're being told to share it because it's land that they took.
Wasn't theirs.
It wasn't theirs. And now they're being asked, and a lot of these cases, they're not even using that land. They're not even farming it. It was taken from Black farmers. And in a lot of cases, they're just sitting on this land. They're not doing anything with it. So no, they're not. It's not a genocide. They're not being murdered. This is just an embarrassment. And even white South Africans are like, holy shit, what the hell?
It's amazing. But I don't know. I mean, here we are. We just get lied to repeatedly, and most people think it's okay.
Every day, day after day after day.
I don't even want to see the guy. But
yeah, this shit just gets old. I'm sick of looking at these people. I'm sick of the bullshit that comes out of Kristi Noem's mouth. I'm sick of all of these people. They are just, it's like a rogues gallery of disgusting and completely ignorant human beings. And I say it all the time. These are not serious people. Say what you want about Biden and his cabinet, but these were policy people. These were people that understood how government worked and what government was supposed to do. This is just a bunch of grifters and haters and racists and sycophants and suck-ups, all looking to curry favor and fill their pockets.
And it really shouldn't be okay for any of us, frankly. I just wanted to add again what Medicaid covers. I don't think people understand how many people this affects. 41% of all births in our country are Medicaid births. 61% of all long-term care through Medicaid rather. And we've talked about this. We were very fortunate in how we were able to handle our mom, who we were losing through dementia. Huge difference if you have than if you don't have.
Yeah.
What do you do? First of all, you can't give the care. And secondly, you can't support the care that you're trying to give. It's very frustrating.
It's going to hit this generation, Generation X, extremely hard because how many people in our generation have a spare, up to $100,000 a month for that kind of care?
Oh my God, that's insane.
It's outrageous what you pay for memory care.
Yeah.
And you can't do it on your own. It's too much.
It's impossible.
It's too much. It's horrible. It's a horrible disease. And it's heartbreaking and it's expensive. And to take that away from people, because very few people can afford that.
Sure.
And it's cruel. But again, the cruel point.
The medicine, which only keeps you from getting worse at best, that's another $1,000 a month.
Yeah. And now we're going to go after it. We're cutting research into it.
Sure.
And the ironic thing is Trump seems like someone who's suffering from dementia and it can't happen fast enough. So maybe the universe does have a sense of humor.
Well, his transcript from yesterday, all that talk that he did in the Oval Office, all the transcripts were washed from the White House. They only put up videos. They took down everything that he had said. And then today I saw they put up one commentary that he made or one quote that the president said all day yesterday is back on the White House. No, on the White House website. Now, why would you be, cherry picking what he's allowed to say? And why would you scrub away everything he did say? Most people did hear it.
Well, because I'm sure 90% of it was incoherent rambling.
It was.
Or weaving, as he likes to say. I'm weaving.
It made no sense. And I love the South African guy was like, I'm sorry I don't have a plane to offer you. Trump just like, what? And then he turned around and told him, how can we fix this? And he said, well, we need President Trump to listen to people. Listen.
Yeah, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so listen.
Gotta listen, man. To your point about some of the cuts as well, when you talked about children, it used to be 18, you could claim them as a dependent. Now it's up to 7. An 8-year-old's in first grade. I don't understand how he's independent in first grade. He didn't drive himself to elementary school. He sure didn't pack his own lunch. And, I got to tell him to shower. Come on, kid. Aren't you old enough?
Yeah, get a job, you little bum.
So that would kick off 4.5 million kids off the child tax credit, which is a big helper for a lot of people. All of us, frankly.
Yeah. And, if you're a billionaire, you don't care. But I mean, if you're a middle class working parent, that's a big deal.
Let me reclaim my time on that one. If you're a billionaire and you knock up 17 different women with kids, you're still paying very little in child support.
Yeah, exactly. Elon.
He is a jerk. And just little things. We talked all through the campaign about tax on tips and such. That's in this bill because it was promised, but it's only on cash tips. And like you said, people aren't reporting necessarily all their cash tips. You're not really helping them. They also capped it. And this goes for the beauty industry as well, food, service, production, beauty industry, nails, whatever it would be. If you make over $160,000, if you're working your butt off and doing well, you don't even qualify. So that would seem like, wow, and that is a lot of money. I'm not disparaging that. All I'm saying is you're capping them at $160,000, but you're giving all this money to guys that are making over $1 million. So it just doesn't correlate.
It's ridiculous. And, in a healthy society, people would be outraged. People would be rioting with pitchforks and torches and everything. And instead, we're just so divided.
The interesting stat is it only takes 3.8% or 4% of the population to make change. And we need to get on that quickly.
We do need to get on that. I mean, again, people have to keep hammering that message home that, yes, you're not helpless. We can make change. And this is not, it's not American. This is un-American. It's unconstitutional. And it's just cruel. It's inhuman. I mean, these Christian nationalists now that, believe that empathy is a sin. I mean, again, I'm not a biblical scholar or a practicing Christian, but I understand what Christ said, what that message was, that he was a socialist hippie, dark-skinned Jew from the Middle East, who said, don't be a dick. Yeah. Be kind, be charitable. Look out for people. Look out for the poor. Welcome the stranger. These people are just doing the opposite, yet they love to wear their crosses and carry that Bible around. And, the minute you turn around, they'll fuck you in the ass. Sorry for my language, but I'm a little salty today.
It's understandable. So the top 20%, you'll get about a 3.7% savings. The bottom, people at the bottom will lose about $800 off their taxes. Just some quick numbers. The top 10 wealthiest Americans. Actually, it was carved out as the top 10 wealthiest American men collectively earned an extra $1 billion a day last year.
Unbelievable.
So,
boggling.
It's insane. But we need tax cuts for them. It would take 726,000 years for 10 U.S. workers at a median earnings to make the equivalent of the billionaires. That's 726,000 years. And maybe you get a gold watch then, but that would be amazing to see.
I was driving by yesterday. I was out in the suburbs. I was driving by a sign on the side of the road as a landscaping company. Full-time work, $7 an hour. Like,
oh my God, what?
I'm like, well, I hope it's one of those signs where like the one fell off and it's $17 an hour, because who wants to do that work for $7 an hour? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's crazy. We're getting rid of most of the people that would be willing to do that. So
yeah, that's another rant. I mean,
exactly.
I'll
just finish on that by saying that 60% of tax benefits are going to the top people that are making over $217,000. Again, that doesn't seem like a lot when we're always bragging on billionaires, but if you're bringing down $220,000 a year, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, you're not hurting.
At least that's my take on that. So we'll see how far this is going to go. We need this tax money. We're going to do the Golden Dome. Reagan really wanted it. Wasn't very functionable, I guess, at the time. It still seems silly, but we all come back to Israel. Well, Israel's the size of New Jersey. The Russians aren't sending nuclear warheads there.
Yeah.
It's great that you can knock down these missiles coming from Iran, but let's not make that the basis of our security in the United States, please.
Listen, here's the thing. The only two places he cares about are D.C. and Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't give a shit about putting a dome over the whole country, something that is not It's not even it's a concept,
It is a
basically. It's
concept.
an idea. It's not engineering wise, it's not thought out. I've seen quotes from experts that like this is something that is decades away from being done. It's just, again, it's another money grab.
It
It's
is
another, what was it,
25 billion deposit that
Mhm.
goes to his friend Elon, who's going to be running the show.
Of course.
And then the total package on it's $175 billion with a B. The problem is, one nuclear warhead is all it takes to get through, and you're fucked.
Well, here's the thing. Once one nuclear warhead gets launched, man, it's like opening a bag of chips. Everybody's launching, and it's
Sure.
goodbye. It's the end.
But the
So
Golden Dome's not going to fix that.
no, the Golden Dome won't fix that. And here's the thing. If you do manage to survive that, you're going to wish you hadn't.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I mean, what's left is not.
Yeah,
enticing
that book
for anything.
was really eye-opening and horrifying because there is nothing left. It's just complete destruction and devastation, and the planet's not inhabitable for centuries.
Well, and I'm going to jump to that. I'll come back to the other thing. This is what we like, polluting. This is how we're handling Mother Nature, it would appear.
Yeah, the way Trump handles women.
Ooh, yes. So the issue is that we've taken away the tax credit for clean cars. That's gone starting now. The incentives for wind, solar, and even nuclear energy are scaled way down, and then we eliminate them completely by 2032. Again, this seems like we're going in the opposite direction. It's going to take time to get to 2032. The environment's going to get worse. Those policies will come away. Clean energy manufacturing tax credit gone in 2031. Anybody upgrading their home for cleaner energy or more effective appliances, those subsidies are gone at the end of this year, 2025. See ya. Because we're drill, baby, drill, right? I mean,
we're all in.
Drilling, and it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It really doesn't. It's ludicrous. I mean, and here's the thing, they've known about this for 40 years. And instead of, pivoting and saying, hey, let's get ahead of this, we'll still make money. We'll be the leaders in this, the world leaders. Yeah, we're just going to, we're going to obfuscate and deny and lie and put, hundreds of millions of dollars into these campaigns to, confuse people while we just let the planet burn because we're going to keep making money.
And if all else fails, let's put some money in the politician's pocket.
Yeah, but in the end, dude, we all live on this planet. And in the end, you can build, like Gene always said, you can build your, ultra luxury bunker deep and away, but eventually you're going to run out of food. And the guy who's in charge of security, his kids are going to get hungry. And your cash doesn't mean anything. He's coming for your food.
No doubt. Yeah, that we talked about that on Tuesday. I mean, it's the money thing that I'm just not being able to correlate to it being the end all be all. We talked about this under the Cheney days. You can't eat it. You can't farm with it. There's like, you can't make it the end all be all because it's first of all, not all of us have that ability because we don't have it, for one, and for two, it's destroying us as people and our civilization, basically.
It really is. It's unfettered, just greed, disgusting greed.
A couple of the results off that, these incentives being taken away with the environment, rising energy costs, which is exactly the opposite of what he said. But households, it's going to cost hundreds of dollars more every year. Obviously, pollution's a given. It undercuts any action to climate change to begin with because Trump doesn't believe in it. Trump's quote was that solar and wind energy is ugly and disgusting. And he's already barred it from, or banned it, from any federal lands or federal waters because it's ugly and disgusting.
He's ugly and disgusting.
So by 2028, because of these policies that are in this big, beautiful killer of the environment bill, by 2028, 300,000 jobs go away in the solar energy and storage sector, which is what we're, progressive nations are going to how can we store this energy type of thing. We're going to cancel those jobs, kind of like research for Alzheimer's. Fuck it.
Yeah, we're not doing that. And
then by 2030, which again seems like a long time, but we're talking about 5 years, 830,000 jobs will be gone in those two sectors because we just don't need it. It's not that interesting.
It's not making us money.
It could be though, if done right.
Yeah, it could be. There's just no interest to do it. I mean, this country has been taken over by dinosaurs, essentially. People who do not have any kind of progressive vision, people who do not have any kind of they're not open-minded enough to see that there's a better way. They want to go back to the good old days. You know what? The good old days weren't that great.
And we talked about what those good old days were. It was when Trump was super rich, which never happened. But it wasn't great for everybody, as you said. The Gilded Age was not.
No, I mean, and again, look at the war on women, going after Roe v. Wade and a woman's right to choose and women's health care. I mean, they wanted to fund Planned Parenthood. That's also in this bill.
Already done, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just ridiculous. It's so much more than just abortions. I mean, it's women's health. They don't care. These people hate women. They hate minorities. They hate anybody who's not a Christian. They hate anybody that's not wealthy. Again, these are hateful, despicable people, and they're running the show.
They are in full force too. And to that end, I'm going to put this up about the hate. This is St. Louis again. This is North City. This woman's on her stoop waiting for FEMA, which isn't happening. Here's some visuals here of the tornado. You can see these homes. It's just ugly. Here's buildings down. And the cleanup. Whoa, money fight. That shouldn't be there.
That about sums it up, though.
I believe FEMA came today. They are in the city after Josh Hawley made pleas for Nome to come. Just because they come to your city doesn't mean they come with a checkbook, and that they are giving, as we talked about yesterday, the $750 to at least get you started for that first day, so you have something in your pocket to be able to go somewhere. A lot of these people aren't able to leave their homes that are destroyed. They're on their stoops. They have no front to their house, and they're still sitting there because where else are you going to go? Another thing I want to bring up is that everybody's like, oh, homeowners insurance, which is a process. It is something you generally have. I get that if it's not denied. But a lot of these homes in North St. Louis City are African Americans that they bought their house from a relative. They don't have homeowners insurance. There's no fallback for these people, and they're not getting any help. What I did find that was interesting, and it was one of my happy endings. No, I'm not going to use that as my happy ending. You have gangs in this area. It's a pretty rough part of town. Generations have lived there, but you have people, they know they're on their own. So they have the gangs have made a truce to be able to come out and help the neighborhood, to help with cleanup, to help with elderly people. There's a lot of seniors involved, and there's a lot of families, like I said, that have been there a long time. So to me, if they can make it work, on the bigger scale, why can't we? And why can't we be a little bit more helpful? So yes, FEMA is here, but they're not writing checks. It goes back to Trump. He has to decide whether it's warranted. I think we saw that even the money that was appropriated through FEMA by Congress to North Carolina, Asheville in particular, was rescinded. People were halfway through trying to do repairs. I know you've seen the Riverwalk down there. All those houses, we saw the videos. They're gone.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
And where do those people go if you're not getting the aid?
Yeah, literally, what do you do? You're on your own, and it's a disgrace. I mean, again, say what you want about Biden, but he would have showed up in St. Louis. He would have shown up in Kentucky. He would have shown up in Asheville,
Arkansas. Yes, we could go on. And you're right. And even if he didn't know where he was, FEMA was on the ground.
Yeah, but don't worry, Jake Tapper's still on the big story. I mean, what the fuck? Fuck Jake Tapper. Who the fuck is that guy? He's a fucking failed, irrelevant journalist that nobody gives a shit about, and he's still banging this gong. Meanwhile, the elite political media is trying to basically sane wash what is essentially a fascist takeover of this country.
Yeah.
It's obscene.
Yeah, we're not getting much help from the media on any of those fronts.
No.
I mean, a great example is that the Pentagon accepted, the Department of Defense accepted that plane from Qatar.
That fucking plane.
It's a royal palace. And here's where I've come down on this. Take your stupid plane that you begged for and they're willing to give you, because it's like a car lot. They don't want to
Yeah,
pay
they couldn't
insurance
sell
on a
it, so
car
they'll
sitting
write it
on the
off.
lot. They don't want to maintain it. They're like, hey, great, take it. I don't want to pay the 600 to 800 billion dollars that it's, or million that it's going to take to retrofit it and to clean it for bugs and to make sure it's safe. I don't care. You want it, fly on it all you want. We have 2 Air Force Ones. That's not good enough for this guy. The one is being worked on and has been for 2 years to upgrade it to what he wanted from his first term. Still not good enough. And I don't want to pay. And I feel like without FEMA and without the federal government, everything goes back to states. They talked about this under the education department, where you send it back to states, and states are saying, state representatives are saying, we don't have the money for this. So you're kicking it to us. Oh, you want us to do it. We don't have funds for it. I mean, there's a reason why we have a Department of Education, and it's because poor people and people of color were not getting the education that the white people were. So we leveled the playing ground. We have this department. It's fair for everybody. But no, there's so much fraud, waste, and abuse. And I got to listen to Linda McMahon tell me how she was in the corporate world. She knows how it works. Clearly, she doesn't. AI is not A1. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a
You
state
talk about
class. And you sound like a jerk, and you're not helping these kids. And her legacy, she wants it to be about for her kids and her grandkids. It was all about her legacy.
We were all going to private school. I'm sure her kids went to private school, and her grandchildren were going to private school.
Yeah, but it was all about her. And they said, your legacy is going to be that you tried to defund and close the Department of Education. Great job.
Yeah. Well, and she got smacked down today.
Did she?
Again, yeah.
Oh, in the courts. Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, it wasn't a real smackdown. Well, but no, so those people that have been fired, the court ordered them to be reinstated, brought back
immediately.
Yeah.
And he wants a report every week as to who hasn't been brought back. Yeah, the courts are not fucking around. And that's why in this bill they want to put it where Trump's above the law. Roberts practically gave that to him anyway. So be better.
Be better, because we're at a fucking very dangerous point now.
No doubt about it. Just to finish on the FEMA and St. Louis, in that area of North City, half of the Black people in that area do not have reliable internet. The sirens didn't go off. There have been suspensions of people because that system did not work. There was no warning for these people. More than 10% don't have access to smartphones. So, oh, my phone went off. It must be a problem. They don't have that. But again, I did think it was kind of cool that the gangs, put down their feelings to come out and help the community, because they know they're on their own. White versus black type of thing. It's your neighborhood. You choose to live there. You have to take care of your responsibility, because nobody's coming.
Nobody's coming. Yeah, you're on your own. And again, this is why Gene, and Black Twitter said, hey, you handle it. We've done our fair share. We're sitting this one out. You people wanted this. You deal with it. So yeah, I'm glad that the people in North St. Louis are stepping up to take care of each other, because nobody else is.
And it's a mess. So I think that is incredible.
Oh, the damage was horrific.
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable. It's going to be months, and these homes will not be rebuilt. Maybe we'll start a Trump Plaza up there or something amazing.
Oh yeah. Hey, let's gentrify. What a great idea. What a great opportunity. I mean, it's so disturbing
and disrespectful. To that end, with FEMA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration came out today with their predictions. Took a little bit longer because they're really light on staff. Still looking to hire another 155 people. 5 major hurricanes that they can predict as of now, and an above average season of uncertainty with the weather. So I don't even have advice to that other than no, this is going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, does anybody see a trend here? This seems to get worse every year. Gosh, I wonder why.
Well, and everything's more violent when it comes to the weather. We're pumping in all this pollution that's only affecting us on our planet. which I guess safely the universe is okay, but we're not.
Yeah.
And now we're not recognizing it. All the stuff that Trump's taking off the books for the environment and the protections is ridiculous. I did want to say that on the top of the plane that he took from Qatar, they broke ground yesterday. Eric Trump was in Hanoi, and they broke ground there for a resort and 3 18-hole golf courses, which is great. But in relation to this plane in Qatar, they have a deal for $5.5 billion to build a golf resort there. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool because everybody likes golf. That's what we need. We need more luxury golf resorts. I've been saying that for years. We really need that.
The trend is really the other way, where people think maybe turn 18 holes into, I don't know, 13 or 14. Nobody has the time to be out there for 18 holes of golf.
What about a 9-hole pitch and putt?
That would work too.
What's wrong with that?
Plus, think of all the grounds that you could save, that you're not just putting sand traps and trees that seem to like people's balls. I don't know.
Yeah, it's obscene, is what it is.
Gentlemen only, ladies forbidden, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going anywhere for a while. Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
So, I mean, even I saw, Trump, just with the media, even on The View, they were told to tone down the anti-Trump rhetoric. The View, that's your view. Like, I don't understand. Now you're telling me what The View is and what I'm allowed to do and can't do. I mean, it's
yeah.
insane.
It's just, this is
the
not
media
democracy.
is disappointing us. They're supposed to be the ones to save us. That's not happening.
That's
and
not
here
happening.
we are.
Yeah, and here we are.
We're dealing with this, which I'm going to put up again just because it's so entertaining. Money fight.
Money fight.
Come on, Smithers.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I prefer the dollar. When pigs fly.
I prefer the dollar.
Classic. I did want to mention that there were 6 House Democrats that have died in office in the last 13 months. Isn't that same?
Yeah, how crazy is that? What's going on with that?
I'm not sure, but this bill yesterday passed by 1 vote. And the one guy just died 3 days ago. And he was definitely a no on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. He was already sick, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why some of these people don't, kind of read the tea leaves and step aside. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I'm talking to you.
Yeah. And he was a chairhead. So they were like, you could have stepped down. We could have put somebody in that position. But you didn't. So here we are. But it just seems weird. Those numbers are just kind of striking. Again, none of this stuff ever seemed to happen before January 21st.
I mean, I wouldn't put anything past these people. Not a thing.
It's strange. On a positive, I did see that Greenland just signed a lucrative deal with the Europe for their minerals. So Trump's going to be pretty pissed. Better start the invasion soon, because
better send JD up there to crack some skulls.
Nobody told me to bring a coat. Unbelievable.
This whole thing is it's like some kind of tragic comedy. It's absurd.
What's getting worse? And I woke up this morning. They hadn't passed the bill yet. They were still fighting through it. They were still arguing about, hey, it's 5:30 in the morning. Why won't you read the details of this? Why are you doing it at this time of day, etc. And then when it passed 9 minutes prior, I felt like I felt when Roe v. Wade was overturned. I mean, it was a real gut punch.
Mm-hmm.
It was something I couldn't swallow. I was in disbelief. It made me mad at every American that I walked by and saw, because I don't know who voted for it and who's for it, who's against it. But all of it was extremely upsetting. And I feel like we're back at it again, where this is across the board. This is a giant bill that wasn't shown in the light of day, that has so many little intricacies to it that are basically screwing everybody but billionaires.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And yet they don't feel any need to, read any of this bill to anybody. Oh, you don't need to know that. I mean, these are horrible people.
And then they talk to you like a jerk. And I think that the Democrats, for the most part, did a really good job of exposing it. But sadly, how many people are actually watching those committee meetings?
I know. Listen, If you're a retiree and you're home all day watching Fox News, just watch C-SPAN instead.
It's super informative, and
It won't get you as angry.
Yeah.
Except you might be angry at finding out how duped you've been.
Yeah.
But at
Christy,
least it's a righteous anger.
She started the waterworks yesterday, and you couldn't even tell. It's like she had to like poke her eye to get a tear to come out. They were pretty rough on her because she had no answers, and she was kind of belligerent. So
yeah,
this is what you get.
She's an ignoramus.
Big beautiful bill, also known as Project 2025.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, we're just all about the cruelty. I mean, there was Christie again, where 50 Venezuelans that were sent to El Salvador, they were in the U.S. legally. I mean, could you check before you do it?
Yeah.
Holman just comes out and talks more shit. Like, hey, this has been done before, and this is the norm, and people, flooding through our borders and stuff. I mean, we go back to it's Biden's fault. It's Biden's fault. The numbers just don't add up. 20 million people didn't come into this country. 20 million brown people wouldn't want to come into this country. Look around.
It's true. And here's something that is conveniently forgotten. I mean, they had an agreement. They had an immigration bill, and then Trump totaled it. Trump stepped in and sabotaged it.
Said, don't sign this. It'll make Biden look good. We don't want it. And they admitted that.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. This isn't football. You don't pick for your favorite team and root for them. This is real life. This is a society. This is a democracy. And it's being fucking torn apart by these partisan assholes whose only real agenda is to enrich themselves and gain more power. That's it.
Money, money, money.
Yeah, they're hateful people.
Well, and then you have these companies falling in line. You mentioned he was mad at Walmart about the tariffs. Walmart dropped their DEI policy, and it pissed people off. And circling back on that, Target did it, as we know, months ago. Yeah. And they're really suffering from it. Their first quarter sales were down another 4%. Again, it's backlash on these DEI policies.
Yeah, go to Costco. Costco stood up and took a stand. So get yourself a Costco membership, support them.
Yeah, and DEI isn't a trend. You want to have the best people you can. Just because you put a fancy description to it. I mean, Hexeth's leading the prayer at the Air Force or at the Pentagon, and it's just disturbing. I don't need that in my government. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
preach all you want, when you want, but don't do it on company time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And, talk about a DEI hire. This guy is completely incapable of doing his job. So unqualified.
We're going to make it to October when they can actually look into it because...
Yeah. And let's not forget, a lot of the DEI beneficiaries were white women.
That's right. That is absolutely right. Well, they seem okay with it until it was them, and then they weren't so okay with it.
Yeah.
I will say, and this is how it works with the frog in the water. Cases of measles, salmonella, listeria, hepatitis A and C have been spreading throughout the country. But a lot of the platforms that the CDC uses to communicate with the public have gone silent. So we talked about this before. The AMA has a YouTube, American Medical Association has a YouTube channel, not on their website, that will give you daily updates on all of this. We used to hear about boar's head. Hey, it can sicken and even kill you.
Yeah.
Don't eat the meat. It's bad.
The factory's filthy.
Measles. It's been enough time because this did really just start in West Texas. They're running out of vaccinations because parents are like, and we talked about this. This wasn't on the parents. They're trying to do their best for their kids. If you scare them and their source of information tells you that vaccinations are bad and they're going to make your kid this, that, or the other, you're doing your best, especially as a new parent. It's hard. It doesn't come with a manual. You don't have to have a license to do it. They're doing the best they can, but they were fed all this garbage. They didn't check their sources, as we always talk about. And these kids are all getting sick. Well, now it's been enough time of watching nothing happen. Vitamin A wasn't helping. A healthier diet didn't make the measles go away. But now there's a rush, and they're running out of vaccines vaccinations in that area because people were like, "Hey, I'm going to do it. Yes,
Yeah. Sign me up.
Sold a bunch of garbage, but now I need it." And rightfully so that they're getting it. But I'm just saying, why did it take so long? Why are you being fed this misinformation? Why don't we trust science and medicine anymore?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Again, we're going backwards. And the guy running HHS doesn't even want the job.
I know. It's true. And he couldn't even really say to get the MMR vaccination, which to me was the most offensive thing.
Why would I tell anybody? I can't tell anybody what to do.
Well, you can, because it's kind of your job. You accepted it, so do it.
Yeah.
And this isn't a happy ending by any means, but we talked about the cuts to the Meals on Wheels and the food banks. Well, that hasn't even gone through for the most part. And with the Doge cuts at the very beginning, Florida food banks are feeling it already. They're not having enough food for the amount of people that are coming in looking for food. And that's, food scarcity that's horrifying to me. Like, how can you live in this country and we have a food scarcity problem for our population? How's that even a
the
thing?
Wealthiest country in the world. And this is where we are, because you've got a bunch of fucking gluttonous, wealthy people, obscenely, morbidly wealthy people just sitting on it and hoarding it.
Hoarding, yeah.
And you've got other people starving. It's obscene.
It is. But we're going to pump all this money in. ICE is now going to be the highest funded federal law enforcement component in the history of the United States, bigger than the FBI, and with a larger budget for detention than the entire FBI or the entire Federal Bureau of Prisons.
And if you're listening to that and that doesn't scare the shit out of you,
jaw-dropping.
It really is, because they're not going to stop at just deporting illegals. Believe you me, this is the tip of the iceberg. There is a much deeper agenda here, and we should all be fucking horrified.
Yeah, and ICE, the population of the Proud Boys has gone down because they're all getting hired by ICE. So let's be careful.
Yeah, with their little face coverings. I mean, this is Trump's little private army. This is Trump's little SS.
It is, and they love it. They relish it. They think they're Americans, and they're doing it for America.
Yeah, only a certain type of American, though. So
right.
Yeah, we need to be aware of this, and we need to fucking speak up and speak out. This has already gone way too far.
Well, and just start in your backyard. If I'm in Florida, I go to the food bank. I don't have food. I got to wake up to a House Bill 1191, which would allow Florida roads to be paved with radioactive waste. Are you insane?
It's fucking insane.
Radioactive waste? I mean,
that's fine.
It's like asphalt. It heats up. And then what? I'm breathing it? Like, I don't even know. Now it's in my car. I go home. I spend a lot of time in my car. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah. This is it's obscene, and it's horrifying.
So again, Floridians, take care of your own backyard. Don't let this governor, who already took money that was supposed to go to anybody but his wife, back into the system, but it went into her system. These people have to be held accountable for it. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's not sustainable for the rest of us. And I know these guys think they're going to Mars and there's a better planet out there for them. But let me just tell you, if they're able to go outside of our universe, people are not going to let them in, okay? Based on their history of being dicks.
Seriously, I'm sure there's an intergalactic, detour around this planet. Hey, if you're heading towards that next galaxy, avoid that one.
Do not enter.
It's a fucking shit show.
Fry should have told you from Futurama, am I right?
Yeah. Jeez. No doubt.
That's insane.
It's insane.
So all this is coming to fruition. Everything that's been talked about, 45% of all children in America are at risk for losing healthcare or access to food under this new budget. That to me is a non-starter. I've never heard of anything as horrendous as that. These kids rely on Medicaid for healthcare. They rely on SNAP for food. Boom. That's 45% of kids. Come on, man.
Yeah. Won't someone think of the children?
I am. That's 14 million that rely on both of those. So even if you need healthcare, but you don't need food, 14 million people that need both is a giant number. And we just took 13.7 million people off their health care to begin with. So
yeah, and again, for no other reason than the wealthiest people need to become more morbidly wealthy.
that's where all the money goes. It's definitely going to the 1/10 of 1%, because that's
and they're not putting it back. They're not giving any of it back.
We talked about the other day about PBS, and I mentioned Netflix taking them over. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, only to the point that you'll still be able to tune in on your PBS station, right?
Okay.
So it's not like you have to sign into Netflix to be able to watch PBS. It's something that they're going to allow anybody to have access to through your regular public broadcasting station.
Very cool.
I thought that was awesome. And I'm not a big Netflix fan. I mean, for various reasons, political. But I thought that was pretty awesome. So good on them.
Good on Netflix.
Big fan of that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so much out here. And like we say, you got to kind of sift through it because it is all terrible. But I think people are starting to wake up that they're on their own. They have to ingratiate their neighbors if you want that kind of support. We're seeing it now. I mean, the trees are still down and we are getting cleanup. I think people have a newfound respect for the people that are clearing the debris. To your point, most of the people I'm running into are not Caucasian. And they're doing a great service for the neighborhood and the people here. So I feel like careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that is not easy work. That is dangerous work. It's hard work. It's demanding physically. That's a hard job.
It really is. And again, it's not the state coming in and doing any of this stuff. It's not the federal government, obviously, as we talked about. I was fortunate enough in my neighborhood that there was that they had a contract with a tree company, so they're able to come in. And I'm not saying first priority, but at least make sure your roads are clear for starters. Get debris out of the way so people can get to the grocery store and stuff. I mean, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it is. And you're lucky that your neighborhood has like people with foresight that had planned for this, that have been, keeping that relationship going because, they knew that something like this could happen. It wasn't like electing someone that put up stupid signs saying, "Don't pee on these stupid bushes I put here that don't even belong here because you're poisoning them."
Murder dogs.
Yeah. I was murdered by dog urine. I mean, thank God that idiot wasn't in charge.
That is awesome. Yes.
And again, that's what governance is about. It's about having serious people that craft serious policies, that weigh the issues, that don't spout like 10-second, 10-second blurbs that sound good, that, incite people to get, it's government is boring. It's wonky.
It is.
But that's what works. That's why you need serious people that are dedicated to this. And yet every time we've had a chance, we voted them down. Yeah. Except in 2020, which was a fair and legal election, unlike this one.
Yeah.
And again, fucking blood and circuses. People want a fucking shit show. They want to be entertained and amused and outraged. And this is what you get.
Granny K. What was it? It was food and circus, no? Bread and circus. Yeah.
Yeah, except there's no bread. There's no bread. It's just blood. We want to see violence and circuses.
Well, that's not as happy ending I was shooting for.
Well, they say Aaron Rodgers might be coming to Pittsburgh. How about that?
And the Pirates have won 2 straight. Okay.
Well, there you go. Miracles do happen.
Pitcher had to pitch a shutout. Though they have that Modlinski pitching today, which is like their 6th starter when they have guys in the minors at AAA that could come up and smoke at that level. I mean, they've got some really good talent. But no, just cart that guy out. Who cares?
Horribly mismanaged. The GM is a boob. The scouting staff is terrible.
As an old school Pirate fan, seeing Gene Lamont, I don't know if you recall how he was in Jimmy Leland's dugout. The brim's down here. He's on the railing.
Had the original flat brim.
And he's been amazing for this new manager that as him as bench coach. It's just like, and I'm only reminded to it because you talked about politics. It's wonky. It's not exciting, etc. But it is to some people. But you stay here. You're not up here. You're not down here. Lamont's right here, man. And I feel like it's the same thing. The politicians that are good, and that's usually their research people and their admins under them, not necessarily the politicians themselves, but they listen. They don't overreact. They're not looking for a gotcha moment. They're trying to explain policy. I mean, the woman was asking, hey, doesn't this seem unfair? And the guy's saying, well, this is policy. And she's like, we can talk about policy separately, but let's try and agree on like the ethics of things before we move into policy. I can agree with you on some of that, but we're not having a discussion because you're just yelling at me and treating me as the legislator as a jerk.
Yeah.
When you work for us, I'm asking you questions. So yeah, it's not exciting. It doesn't have to be a gotcha moment, but like you said, it works. And it's gotten us this far, 250 years. And now we're trying to mess that up.
Yeah, now we're just going to drive the plane into a mountain because you know why.
I think it's on autopilot. I don't know.
Yeah, a fucking shitty ass 747 that Qatar couldn't unload. And so now we're all going to pile aboard and just fly it right into the ground.
Like I say, if he wants the royal palace in the sky, do it. But I don't want to pay for it.
Man, Pete Hegseth and his staff of geniuses, they've already compromised national security with their little text chains available to anybody, apparently. So yeah, what are they going to find out that they haven't already found out?
Good point. And let them. All I'm saying is I don't care about the safety. That's on you. You pay for it on your private time because I don't want to. I don't even know why we're paying federal taxes if I don't get my roads taken care of, if I don't get any health care coverage, if I don't have FEMA coming when I have a disaster. What am I paying into?
Yeah, exactly. What? Get nothing for it.
They should really probably tell us that. That's important.
Yeah, grifting.
So we talked a little bit about the environment. So I'm going to jump to my happy ending this way. I'm going to start with the Supreme Court. Oh, I'm not doing the Trump dance. The Supreme Court blocked the religious charter school in Oklahoma. I thought that was huge. It was 4-4. We had talked about this in the past where Comey Barrett recused herself from it. So it was 4-4, but it will not happen. And why it even got this close and went to the Supreme Court is beyond me, that we're going to have taxpayers paying for charter religious schools.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Insane. 4-4 though. So,
well, unfortunately, I mean, she's actually at least trying to become an actual impartial justice, and I give her credit for that.
She's doing better than John Roberts.
Oh, John Roberts is terrible. That guy is just weak-kneed and lily-livered and milquetoast. All those old school expressions for just a wuss.
I thought you were going to go groceries. Old school.
Groceries. Hey, I just made that word up. I'm going to call it groceries. It's when you go and buy food, which I never do because I press a button and it's brought to me.
I mean, he went to the Gulf states over there and started talking about groceries. Like, dude, they don't care. They're all laughing at you.
The whole world is laughing at you. They know that you're a clown.
Pretty much. And he is. And I'm so sick of seeing his face. Enough already.
My
happy ending, not only about the Supreme Court stepping up, though it was 4-4, was about China's emissions. China's emissions have fallen 1% over the last 12 months. It's in a structural decline because of their renewables. Now, that doesn't sound like much, 1%, but here's something that's better than it being up 15%. It's down 1%. This is a start. Already in the quarter this year, 2025, they're down 1.6% decline, again, based on renewables, something that we're running from, but China's embracing. So despite Trump and his new data, which shows, renewables account for 98% of our new electricity capacity in 2025. So any new electricity that we're generating is 98% of it's coming off of renewables. And to me, that's amazing, but now we're backing away from it because they want to gut everything that Biden did. Anything that was for electric cars, anything that was for the environment, those disgusting windmills. They're so horrible.
Yeah, all for one guy's ego, his bloated ego, because he's thin-skinned and hypersensitive and just plain dumb.
And old and kind of demented.
Yeah.
This is called progress. We go away from oil and gas. We don't want to send the coal miners back underground if we don't have to.
Yeah.
We have other ways to harness energy. Let's use it. It's not drill, baby, drill. The oil companies are not buying permits. They don't need any more oil. We produced more oil than we ever had, and anybody in the whole world under Biden's administration.
Yeah, it's
without going into the Arctic refuge.
It's absurd.
It's a little upsetting that he's trying to take us backwards where everybody else is going forward. And I'm no fan of China, but I do appreciate that they understand what progress looks like.
Well, they've got a vision. Yeah, they do.
And we don't. We don't have a vision. We have a vision of the golden era of, greatness and more money, and we're going to be so rich.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it, and I'm not a big fan of where they're trying to take us. And I do feel like there's enough Americans that probably feel the same way that we could probably make some change. 4% of us.
Yeah, that's all it takes. So, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, make those calls.
For sure.
This is getting to the point where it's pretty scary, man. Red lights are flashing, and if we don't do something soon, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, for sure. And if we don't stick together, they're going to come and take us away individually anyway. So instead of chaining yourself to a tree to save it, chain yourself to your neighbor.
Yeah.
And maybe his neighbor.
There you go. Make a new friend.
That's right. Any happy ending for you, Billy, other than the Pirates 2-game winning streak?
Well, that's a pretty big one right there. But, holiday weekend, heading into the holiday weekend. So that'll be nice.
I think we should rename Memorial Day to something a little bit more like me. What you got? Anything?
What, fucking demented asshole day? I don't know, man. It doesn't really have a catchy ring. Yeah. But you know what? The Memorial Day party we're going to go to is going to be pretty fucking rad, and that'll be fun.
Looking forward to it. All right. Well, I'll accept that one, Billy.
I had a great time last year.
Yeah. Very good people and interesting. So, all right. Well, I look forward to that. And then maybe a Friday on a Thursday. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you drudging through some of this. It's really a tough day with this being passed. Let's hope that people are calling their senators to voice their displeasure for this, how they're screwing so many people, except for the 1/10 of 1%. And let's kind of band together on this. This is an easy one.
Yes.
This is the loser for 99.9% of us. So let's kind of take that to heart and make some change.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm glad you're on board, Billy.
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. All right. Have a good day.